Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful to have a simcha, a joyous occasion, a number of joyous occasions to bring us together. Many of us got to enjoy a lovely evening last night together, and again today. It gets so late. It makes me so tired. And the ups and the downs, they're good, they're terrible. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. Yes, the Celtics. Anyone stay up and give it their all? Yeah, we tried. Some of us were texting into the wee hours. While their season ended on Thursday night, I really loved their 2-month run through the playoffs. Like other team sports, soccer and hockey, volleyball, basketball works and you're successful when the teammates play together and work together. In basketball, there are moments when the ball moves around so fast to the open player that the defense can simply not keep up. I love a great pass where one player is cutting to the basket, the other one drives into the lane, and it's getting a little technical for you who don't watch basketball, but nonetheless, then at the last second passes the ball, and it's an easy basket. The creme de la creme of this play is known as the alley-oop, where the ball is lobbed up and the other player is already in the air, catches it and slams it home. That kind of mid-flight passing takes a remarkable amount of timing, cooperation, and athleticism. As General S. McChrystal writes in his really interesting book, Team of Teams, quote, "Great teams consist of individuals who have learned to trust each other. And over time, they have discovered each other's strengths and weaknesses, enabling them to cooperate and play as a coordinated whole." Now, the Celtics didn't always do this at every game. And when they didn't, they lost. But when they did, they won. Teamwork makes every player on the court shine in basketball and in life. Shining is the opening theme of this morning's Parashat. The Israelites are making their final preparations for the Mishkan, which seems like it takes several books of the Torah, but finally they're getting there. This is their wandering wilderness synagogue. And one of the final acts is to light this menorah, a 7-branch candelabrum, not the Chanukiah that we light on Hanukkah, which of course is from a story 1,000 years later. But this is that original menorah that was in the Beit HaMikdash in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. This famous menorah later in Jewish history, in the year 70, 2,000 years ago, gets carried off by the Romans because it was so important and such a valuable symbol. And you can see it carved into the Arch of Titus in Rome to this day as the Romans celebrated their great victory over the Jews. The menorah is also the symbol of the modern state of Israel. And you can see a large menorah outside of the Knesset, Israel's parliament. And that's to tell us that Israel's back, and we're back, and we have our symbols. But there's something really strange about the original command opening this week's parasha. The Torah states, "Beha'alotecha et hanerot el mul pnei menorah ya'iru shivat hanerot." And to translate it, it's when you lift up the lamp wicks. Don't forget, this is before candles. When you lift up these lamp wicks, facing or against the menorah, against this lampstand, then they will shine forth. The seventh lights will give forth light. So the strange formulation is, what does it mean, el mul? In front of, or facing, or even against, or towards the front of this menorah. There's a great rabbinic commentary, the Midrash Sifrei, on the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers that we're reading, and explains that you might have thought that what it means is that each of the lamp wicks is facing the front of the menorah, so that each of the seven is bringing their light forward. And the Midrash says that's not what's going on. What it means, el mul pnei menorah, facing the menorah, is that three of the lamp wicks on the east side should be bent a little bit towards the center. And then the three on the west side should be bent a little bit the other way towards the center. And that way, you have the outer lights, those six, right, illuminating and brightening the center flame, which in turn makes all the other lights shine more brightly. The more positive energy we bring into the world towards each other, the more we all shine. The more we support someone who is in the middle, the more everyone is supported. That's the flame of teamwork, of lifting each other up. Beha'alotecha. Now, I've been thinking about, how do we do this in our shul? How does it work? How do we turn our light towards each other, supporting one another? How do we create a nurturing environment where everyone wants to participate and lead and read Torah and Haftarah, as Becca and Sammy did? I just combined your names. As Becca and Sammy did it again, did so beautifully this morning. How do we do that? Now, some of these traditions you might be familiar with. When someone returns to their seat after being given an honor, especially in Aliyah, we say to them, Yasher Koach, which basically means, may you be strengthened. Now, sometimes we offer other sounds or words of support, Chazak ve'amatz, may you be strong and of good courage. Now, you can smile, which of course is a little bit more challenging behind your masks. Maybe like a nod will do it. You can shake someone's hand, but we decided to cut down on germs that way. So maybe an elbow bump. But whatever it is, do something. Too many times people return to their seat and it's as if nothing happened and no one has acknowledged their participation. But there's another form of affirming someone that resonates strongly in our greater society, which is applauding. A couple of weeks ago on our Pride Shabbat, we had 3 members of the community stand up and tell their own stories. One about coming out as gay, Mayor Scherer, who spoke beautifully. One of our students who spoke about his journey as someone who is trans, and a parent who spoke about her journey as being a parent of someone who is trans. The sharing was so powerful that everyone in shul applauded, something that is normally not done in synagogue. So why is it not done? Well, the first reason is that there's actually a custom of not applauding, not clapping on Shabbat. And this is because it was seen as work. Now, there's work and there's work. To me, it's not so much work. But in any case, we no longer follow that custom. If you've been paying attention, we are clapping. We are joyously participating in services on Friday night and clapping, and so too this morning. But there's another reason that some people don't clap, which is that it's seen as something reserved for a performance. Something that is not like our participation in shul, which is supposed to be part of our practice, something that we do normally, not something that's a performance like a play or something different. But of course, that said, clapping is something universal. Everyone understands it in America, whether you're Jewish or not Jewish. It's accessible and easy to join in, and it can be powerful. Now, I'm not suggesting that every honor should be responded with all kinds of applause, but perhaps a Dvar Torah or sermon, I don't know, might merit such a response. I'm just kidding. I don't need a clap, a nice hearty amen. No, Shabbat Shalom's fine. Well, for many of us, it might seem foreign, and that's for me as well. It is a kind of straightforward way to acknowledge a unique moment after a young person shares words of Torah, as we did a bit this morning. Now, I know it's controversial to some, but over the last few months, I've actually seen it in many synagogues, especially at B'nai and B'not Mitzvah, and I think that it's worth trying. And we should definitely, in any case, find ways to affirm every person who has received any kind of honor and really connect to them and sustain them. At the end of the game on Thursday night, which was, the fans all stayed and acknowledged the Celtics, who, even though they lost, had a great season and really played powerfully and well. And as I was watching that moment, and then after that, I watched as the Warriors players and Celtics congratulated each other and supported one another. And I realized that's really what it's about. At that moment, it was more important. That was more important than the game. And no matter what we are here in shul for, more important than our participation is actually how we relate to each other and support and sustain each other. And so I pray that as we move forward in time, we find ways to have us all shine and brighten each other through our presence here in shul. Shabbat Shalom.